Is astrology a guide to aid us in mastering the universe? This is the Cosmic Community Podcast with Galactic Ambassador Stacey Dredd. This astrology report is for the week of June 18th. And boy, we are ending Gemini season and we are moving into more Cancer watery energy. This week is the shifting point. We have the summer solstice upon us when the sun moves into Cancer, and then a big full moon, part 1 of 2 in Capricorn this week. So it changes in the air, moving from that airy, more of that friendly, social, getting out, being active. Boy, it has been quite an active Gemini season. And then we move into more of that watery energy. This week, we're going to be integrating and flowing with things and letting things move a little bit more. So air energy brings a lot of change, brings a lot of ideas. It's been busy. There has just been so much information made available to us in Gemini season. It's just about gaining knowledge, gaining information, gaining data bits for logging and using at a later date. There's been an air of making decisions, actually being able to settle on some things, and then that energy of being able to flow with those changes and move on and move forward and move into some new areas, allowing some spaces to open up and some spaces to change and some spaces to shift and some things inside of our space to change and shift and grow. And that is what air energy is all about. And then on June 18th, this is the day before the week, official astrology week of this report, but sets the scene for the week, is that we have the planet of Venus and Mercury both entering Cancer, basically around the same time, within 3 hours of each other. So this is a powerful moment where, and still, we have Mercury and Venus traveling together. They are going to be making this shift together. They're supporting each other, their energies. And so Mercury is the mind. Venus is our heart. We've been talking a lot about, last week was a lot. We talked about the balance, finding the balance. The Gemini new moon 2 weeks ago, we were talking about the availability of the balance and the harmony to come in, because Venus was right on that new moon in Gemini 2 weeks ago. Now that we're approaching this full moon 2 weeks later, we have Venus still working very closely with Mercury. So she is bringing out matters of the heart and bringing them up to the mind, the intellectual mind, and saying, what do you think about things? And the intellectual mind is having this conversation right back and saying, well, this is what I'm thinking. And so if you could just tell me how the heart is feeling. And so there's almost like a meeting here of this. And this is good. This is real nice. It can be like a lot of communications at once too. We are in the sign of Cancer. And so we have a water sign. This is a spiritual energy. All the water signs, they have this ability to walk in two worlds at once. They walk in the physical world, but they walk in the spiritual world. The water signs are connected to spirit. And so our intuition becoming very strong here. We are harmonizing, bringing together the mind and the heart in a sign that is all about safety and security and our nest, our home nest. This is about the security and safety of our home space. that place that we go to feel secure. And so Cancer energy brings out sometimes the fear, that we have of not feeling secure or not feeling safe. And these kinds of ideas are going to be coming up, and feelings from the heart. And so other things Cancer represents the mother. This is ruled by the moon, the entity out there, the illuminary of the moon, our satellite. And I was just introduced to this idea that Cancerians in Cancer energy, I mean, you know that they're ruled by the planetary energy, and so they're influenced by that. And the moon is constantly shifting and changing and growing and waning and waxing. And so Cancer is known as a highly emotional sign that feels things, because the moon represents our emotions, and able to shift into different moods quickly, just like the moon moves through every sign in 2.5 days. Well, Cancers feel that, and they go through different moods every 2.5 days with the moon. But also, outside of that emotional being that the water signs are, and that Cancer is, the idea that the moon is also shifting. They are almost like shapeshifters, in the way that the moon is constantly looking different to us every night that we see it. It's changing its shape, and it's shape-shifting. And so Cancers have a way of shape-shifting. They're always changing the way that they are looking and feeling. And so this is the energy that we're going to be ruled by a bit more, since we're going to have the sun moving into Cancer here in a couple of days on the summer solstice. There is also a lot of Pisces watery energy. And as these planets are coming in to Cancer, when they were back in Gemini, they were making squares to Saturn and Neptune. Well, now that they're moving into the water sign of Cancer, they're going to be approaching trines with those two planets, Saturn and Neptune. And so some of the strain and challenge that can come up in a square we experienced last month, and then this month we're going to get those same personal planets introducing some new energy there, and going to make things come to us a little quicker. A trine is a supportive energy. That is an energy where we can really feel like we are being assisted. And if we would like to, pull those themes out, the themes of Pisces and Cancer, the idea of these intuitive, spiritual, heartfelt, emotional kind of connections that we're making, that this can come out really strong in your life and where you're trying to use that energy right now. So, these trines with Saturn and Neptune going to be very supportive, very nice during this Cancer season. But these personal planets of Mercury, Venus are pretty short-lived in Cancer. They're both moving quickly right now. By the first week of July, these two planets are going to be already moved on into Leo. So if you are looking for fourth house energy here, and it's almost like I'm getting the feeling of like the slingshot, that there's going to be like a slingshot energy here over the next couple of weeks with fourth house energy, Cancer energy, working on the home, safety and security, the things that bring us safety and security, working with our fears around that in our life. So, that is also leading us into this extremely strong and fierce and nourishing energy of the summer solstice. This is the winter solstice for those in the southern hemisphere, but you can just call it the Cancer solstice. This is where the sun moves to 0 degrees of Cancer, and in the northern hemisphere, the longest day of the year. And it's, of course, the day that we celebrate the sun, because we see it the most on this day more than any other day of the year. So that is the connection that we make, is with that source energy of the sun. Without the sun, we wouldn't exist. Our planet wouldn't exist, or so the theories go. To the best of our knowledge, the sun is a big reason why we are able to exist, and our proximity to it, and Earth's relationship to it, and us here on Earth. So sun being the life source of everything, all the plants, all the animals, all of the electromagnetic energy on the planet is ruled by the sun. And without it, theoretically, we wouldn't exist. So that is something to be so super grateful for. A couple of days before, but that definitely is an energy that we're feeling already. And this one is super extra amplified this year because it's falling on a full moon also. So the following day, June 21st, we have the full moon in Capricorn. This is actually the first of 2 full moons in Capricorn that we are going to experience this month. And so every year, one sign gets 2 full moons. That's just the way that the math works out. This is the way that the planets spin around that old sun. So this is part 1 of 2. And Capricorn full moons are usually some of the more intense energies. This is where we are culminating. The full moon is a point that we reach, that we have come to the top of the energetic hill. And it's the climax of what we are working on at the moment. And so full moons just tend to bring things out in people, bring things out in the open. People can be just like you have things on the tip of your tongue, and you're trying to bite your tongue and you just can't. Full moon is like you just kind of burst out. That's the type of energy the full moons bring in. But Capricorn is generally a more responsible, resourceful, goal-driven type of energy. So when you get a full moon, you get these blasts of responsibility and taking responsibility and accepting responsibility, and the things that are blocking you, starting to work through the things that are blocking you from taking more responsibility in your life, or for things that you need to. And so big time themes coming up with this summer solstice around accepting, taking responsibility. And this is all really, truly culminating at a point where this is a time we are looking at new cycles anyways. We have Pluto, the planet of Pluto, at about 2 degrees of Aquarius. And that is a point where we start to work on new themes. When a planet that is, when one of these far out planets moves into a new sign, it kind of shifts our energy into something new. We also have Neptune at 29 degrees and 52 minutes of Pisces, and about to go retrograde. Pluto has stationed retrograde a month or 2 ago. Saturn going to be stationing retrograde in Pisces also next week. And then in the first week of July, that's when Neptune stations retrograde. So these planets in Pisces I already mentioned are basically not moving. They're already slowing down and stationing to basically sit still for a little bit, but then do their retrograde pattern, station, direct again, and move forward early next year. But at this point, these planets, these energies are felt super strong. And with Pluto, Neptune, both on the edges of their own epiphanies right now, we can feel like we are on the edge of our own epiphany. There are some great things that we can sense in the near future, some great things that seem well within reach, like they're just right there, and you can taste and you can smell and you can see them and you're visualizing them, but the actual physical energy is like not there yet, or you're just waiting for it, or you're trying to light that fire or find that spark. And so there could be this push and pull here where we can see what we want. We're visualizing it. But for some reason, the physical energy is just not happening, or the things aren't falling into place, or the timing just doesn't feel right, or whatever. And this is absolutely represented here in the astrology. We also have the planet of Uranus moving to the latter degrees of Taurus, and will do a retrograde also later this year and start moving forward and threatening to move out of Taurus come 2025, 2026. And so these next few years, lots of big paradigm shifts taking place. These large far out planets, they cause paradigm shifts when they do start moving into fresh energy. Another wonderful theme to bring in for the Capricorn full moon is the sea goat. The sea goat is the mascot of the sign of Capricorn. And the sea goat is a fictitious creature that is on the top, half goat, and on the bottom, half fish. And so Capricorn energy, known to be able to span the lowest depths of the seas, but also climb to the highest heights of the mountains. This is almost like it's one of those push and pulls that we're talking about. This is like a juxtaposed energy with Capricorn all the time, where it's like, am I really half goat and half fish? Where am I supposed to live? I don't feel like I belong anywhere, because I'm just like this confusing sort of energy that seems so different. But the thing about Capricorn and mastering this Capricorn energy is realizing that you are not limited to the powers of either the fish or the goat. You possess both of those powers. And this is that career-oriented, that goal-oriented, that go-getter Capricorn energy, where it seems like your Capricorn friends can just make anything happen anytime in their lives. They're just capable of doing so much. And so Capricorn energy is like, I can go here, and I can go here, and I can go here, and I can go here. And it's very confident in this way that builds things, because this is an earth energy. We are looking at building structure for ourselves, for our lives, for leaving a legacy here in our life for those when we, leaving our mark on the planet, basically. And so the sea goat is this really beautiful creature that can do so much more than even believes is true, and doesn't even a lot of times recognize the scope of the power that they possess as a creature that is so unique and unlike anything else, and actually spans multiple worlds. And that's just incredible. Capricorns can literally just materialize things out of nowhere. It's incredible. So look to the sea goat If you are having any issues right now with accepting yourself, the powers that exist within you, accepting parts of yourself, like say, you have a fishtail and you're like, I don't know. I just have a really hard time accepting my fishtail, but I feel like this month is a time when we're going to all accept our fishtails and realize that we are blessed to have a tail like a fish and start flapping it around and using it for what it's worth. And again, this Capricorn full moon is going to be repeated in 1 month, and that is the date on that is July 21st. So yeah, 21st and then the 21st again, June and July. So it's an ongoing story. We are going to see over the next month, the story start unfolding, and then it's going to culminate again on the 21st of July, and we'll be able to really start seeing a lot of this stuff materialize in that Capricorn way. And Cancer, we're going to start feeling, safe and secure in our situations and in ourself again, providing some nourishment and some self-parenting. And also Cancer is going to give us a little opportunity to relax a little bit after this super active Gemini season comes to an end. And then we just get to look forward to that blazing hearth fire of Leo later on in the summer. So I'm looking forward to this summer solstice, and it's feeling to me like it just feels like just a much needed opportunity to internalize some of the things that have been so external lately, and to start to integrate some of the data, some of the information, some of the decisions that have been made, and move forward a little bit after having some time to relax into it. So anyways, have yourself a good week, and I hope that this was helpful, and I will be talking to you again very soon. Thank you so much. Peace. Thank you for listening to the Cosmic Community Podcast. More can be found at kpov.org/thecosmiccommunity.